Impact from Organizing for Better Tomorrow. We are here with the whole team, actually, talking about what's going on. To break down the show today, we're looking at we're going to be talking about the hantavirus because I mean, how it seems like that's the hot topic at the moment. There's definitely this $1 billion ballroom. We got updates on the Iran war. mRNA for flu is making the rounds again. Oh no, guys, everyone, Alligator Alcatraz might have to close, and that's like brand news. $1 million a day, unbelievable. Gerrymandering's going crazy. The DNC autopsy is apparently gobbledygook. And then I want to talk some more about the Novavax versus mRNA piece that I've been working on. If you like what we're doing, make sure to give us a follow, like, whatever it is. If you want to make a donation, you can find anything for that on my link tree. On my personal profile. Anyways, we're here. We are going to talk about comments for VRBPAC. I just want to say that real fast. We do have a VRBPAC meeting coming up in 2 weeks, so I know the hantavirus is very exciting. But we are going to be doing some comments on that. We're trying to move the whole timing of the vaccine schedule so that vaccines release earlier still. We've got pretty close under Biden, and then it kind of got pushed back under RFK, as one would expect. But they were open to doing it. They just, change was still subtle at the time. But the big story is the hantavirus, which I guess everyone has become experts on the hantavirus now. Is that what we do? It's like a new thing appears, and we did spend the last 2 days basically reading everything we could find on it. I don't know. It's gross, by the way. It's gross. It doesn't. Let's just say this. Don't stop the people saying ivermectin will work on it because it helps block things from entering the nucleus. Don't stop them. It doesn't matter that it doesn't actually replicate in the nucleus. It replicates in your, the cytoplasm. It's basically like having worms in your skin, except it's in your cells. It's really gross. It's a particularly gross one when you learn about it. It's like, but apparently super common. You get hantavirus in any part of the world. There's a ton of different versions of it. We saw Gene Hackman's wife died of it recently because they had rat feces in their house, and it gets dry, and you inhale it, and that's what happens. So it is in that sense aerosol. When it becomes like dust, like a pox virus, it is aerosol. But generally speaking, that human-to-human transfer is rare, as everyone is hearing right now. Because it's like hantavirus in every country has a hantavirus named after. There's way more than you think. But only this one that comes from is it the Andes, right?
Andes.
Yeah, it's in the Andes, and it has recently transmitted from human to human, and we were reading a case study on that. Super fascinating stuff. But it does read a lot differently than the COVID. I'll say that. I will say that it reads a lot differently than the COVID stuff, where the case study has 100 people in it, right? And he infected 5 people around him. If it had been COVID, the whole room would have been infected. The whole room, a huge chunk of the room. So it really isn't.
That's a study from 2018 that you're talking about. That's not what is happening right now.
No, yeah, that's the older case study, the other example of this. Which even after that, I mean, if you want to relate anything that's like COVID, is the denial of human to human transfer. Because there's a study we were joking about, we found during pre-call, where it was saying how, even though we're watching human-to-human transfer right now, they're like, there's no real proof of human-to-human transfer. And you're just like, wow, they really need to revisit this study. Revisit that bad one. Yeah, I know, pretty sure it does. So, Biff, you've been keeping the best track of this. Tell us what's going on with all the different patients we have.
Right, I mean, we have, I think, 8 confirmed cases so far, and it doesn't look like there's been, in the past 9 or 10 days now, any recent cases on the ship. But what's concerning is that one of the patients who later passed away from this took basically a bunch of flights on one of the days when she was the most symptomatic and contagious. So that's basically what we're mainly contending with right now.
It is pretty interesting that the studies show, when we talk about COVID, there's a long asymptomatic period where you can be infectious. And so you're still coughing up virons into the air. But with the hantavirus, it seems like most of this is down to just a day or two of when you're peak fever. It's interesting because it doesn't take over and this is just my own personal theory about it, but it doesn't take over your cells the way other viruses do, like take over the nucleus and do all those things. So I feel like the immune response to it's going to be a lot slower because the cells are still kind of operating all right, you know what I mean, for a while longer. So it's like you have this really long incubation period before the immune system kicks on, and then by then you're essentially infested with this thing. And I do feel like we were joking about this because so one of the things that's going around is the mRNA. One of the risk potentials is getting hantavirus on the actual mRNA. We did find the source for that, right? I feel like you found the source for that. It was just like a random thing they said, but Pfizer did have it in their list of things to watch out for after you get their vaccine, right?
Right. Yeah, it was just an internal list that Pfizer had created about possible adverse outcomes, and it was a database that anyone could submit to, basically like VAERS at the FDA.
Right.
So some of it came from doctors, physicians, some of it came from patients. Anyone who got the shot could submit one of these things.
But the thing is that the high IgG4 is a really good example about why some people get hantavirus and other people don't. Like normal immune systems that are functional, even if exposed to this, for the most part, shouldn't actually pick. It's kind of like Legionnaire's disease. Like Legionnaire's disease, when you get Legionnaire's disease, that's the sign of immune suppression going around. So seeing something like, having more immune suppression whether it comes in the form of IgG4 or T cell, whatever the thing that gets suppressed, and like COVID does for a lot of people, it also happens when you get older. So you're going to see like more older people who are immune suppressed in some way. But it is interesting. We're talking about this IgG4 response and how this is a good example, and in my opinion, and this is one of the points we're making in this piece I'm working on, is that this makes you more vulnerable. And it's like a documented thing. Apparently it's considered a non-binding antibody. So like it doesn't have the same positive response. So when we talk about, when anyone talks about IgG4 and like the importance of it, it is one of the immune suppression sort of things. I found it sort of funny because we're all laughing at it at pre-call, and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, but this would actually cause that. And everyone just got quiet because you're like, damn, that would cause that. So it's real important that we keep our immune systems functional. This is why we introduce food programs and medicine for the poor, and all this sort of stuff, because like a good chunk of disease is like not a problem if you have sanitary conditions and a strong immune system. So it kind of goes back to like, I hope this serves as like a wake-up call for people with like handling COVID properly. I do not want this to get out of control, but if it does, multiple COVID infections are going to be a factor in why it happens. And you're also looking at in that Andy's case, 40 days was the longest period where people showed symptoms. 40 days.
Yeah, it's got a 6-week incubation period.
So all these people are testing negative, are symptomatic, and they're testing negative for antibodies. They might be doing PCRs. You said they were doing PCRs too, right, Biff?
Correct.
Yeah. So they are trying to capture. But again, how this thing works is you're only symptomatic on those 1 day. So like, unless they have, it can only prove it is an infection caused by hantavirus. That's all it can do is prove it. It can't disprove the presence of hantavirus. And that's the thing that's like, I feel like that's an important factor to consider right now, because we talk about that with the rat test that everyone uses, how it can't prove the absence of COVID, it can only prove the presence of it. And so I feel like we're doing the same. Like that mechanism seems a lot more important right now, because this is going to be like a longer period of like 40 days until we see that these people didn't have symptoms or not.
It is pretty interesting, though, because, we're basically what you just said. If you test someone now and they test negative, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're absent of the virus. But the people who are getting tested all have symptoms right now. Right. So that means they're sick with something, whether it be
that airplanes are gross. Airplanes are gross.
Or just a common cold. But this might be obvious, but the thought that I just had is, I imagine if you have hantavirus that's incubating and your immune system is trying to fight that off, it's probably not a great thing to be infected with something else while that's trying to do that work.
No, I imagine a co-infection would be bad, because the whole thing is you're like, so all this transmission stuff has to do with like the size, how big the actual virons are, and how well they transmit on different types of like sizes of water, essentially, because like everything is water, micro aerosol, it's all water, lung juice, but it's water. And so it all is in different, measured in different nanometers. And so if you were going to get a crossover or some kind of like change in the virus, having a co-infection would probably be a way to do that. But I do feel like because it replicates in the cytoplasm, unless something else also replicates in the cytoplasm, I don't see that doing a thing. And I feel like there's been a lot of opportunity for this, like throughout history. So I don't know. I don't feel like that's in like the. It'd be freaky. It'd be super freaky if it did that. It doesn't seem like it wants to do that. It seems like you would just either something that increases or shorts. I just feel like with the long incubation rate and people are gross, I feel like this could be like something that's really bad. I don't think it could be like refrigerator trucks, like bad like COVID was. I don't think that it could get like that. I feel like this is a long term, more easily containable. And then when people do get sick, if you treat them properly, it's the no treatment people who die at a high rate. So so there is, once you start finding it and treating people, it does get pretty easy to capture. Like I said, I just hope it changes some people's minds about what COVID is doing, and let's just like we've taken like a laissez-faire attitude towards communicable disease lately that I feel like I really hope this is the like turning point on it, where people are like, hey, maybe it's bad to keep infecting ourselves with parasites.
Yeah. Well, the WHO had a meeting about this today, or a press conference where they answered a bunch of questions. I wish they were a little bit more forthright about like people wearing masks and specifically respirators.
Yeah.
But they kind of like danced around the airborne issue, although she did say it's aerosolized. I have a clip of it.
Aerosolized.
Yeah, I have a clip of it if you want to hear it.
Is that in military terms?
If you want to hear it,
sure, play it. Sure, go ahead.
It's a little long, so if you want me to stop it, let me know. But she does.
I will let you know.
This outbreak to be an epidemic, and also, what would you say about people wearing masks? Should people be wearing masks? Is it considered to be airborne? And also, how long should contacts remain in isolation to avoid further spread? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. And we go back to Dr. Van Kerkhoven.
Yeah, so thanks, Nina. So what we have is, obviously the situation that's happening on the ship itself and the follow-up of the contacts of the passengers who disembarked in St. Helena. So far, as you've heard, we have 8 cases so far, 5 of whom have been confirmed, 3 who have sadly died. We have no further symptomatic patients who are on board, or passengers or crew on board, I should say, which is a good sign. But of course, there is a long incubation period of the Andes virus. We know on board they have taken some precautions to try to minimize the risk. What they have advised on board is disinfection of the rooms. They have confined people to their cabins and providing food and water. And they have asked, as a precautionary measure for anyone leaving their room, to wear a medical mask. We certainly advise people who are caring for those who are suspected of this Andes virus or hantaviruses to wear a higher level of personal protective equipment. That guidance has been given to the people on board, but also there are the 2 patients that are in hospital in the Netherlands, and there's a patient in ICU in South Africa. And I am very happy to say the patient in South Africa is doing better, and the 2 patients in the Netherlands we hear are stable. So that is actually very good news. So we have a situation that we are monitoring very, very carefully. These numbers,
yeah, we can stop it there.
As we're doing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that wasn't terrible. That could have been a lot worse. I feel like when you talk about like medical masks and like they're just like wear something, but higher quality is better. I feel like the implication was there for a respirator, which is better than not there at all. I'm not higher. Yeah, that statement made me think like, well, I mean, at least they're kind of go for the higher quality when you can, They are on a boat, so like, do they have respirators for everyone on the boat? And honestly, you're back to, I really feel like, again, this is not COVID, And I feel like it sounds like I'm repeating their talking point, but it's really not. And so, like, it just doesn't have the same asymptomatic spread that COVID does. If this had the same asymptomatic spread COVID had, we'd be in, like, serious nightmare fuel. And so we definitely don't want more co-infections because that's just going to make that risk, potentially higher. But again, I think the risk of that is pretty low. So, but again, we're in like uncharted territory because there's only been a couple of outbreaks of this thing that we've, we don't know a lot of it, and things do change the more host something gets. So, I don't know. I feel like people just need to take this like really. It's like, okay, actually, here's. This is probably one of the easier ones to control ever. Everyone who has been in contact with anyone has any type of symptom about anything, they need to lock it down and theoretically and go to a hospital, right, with airborne protections. Any symptoms, and that's pretty much it. And if we can do that, this is done. So I would say this is probably not done.
No.
I would say this is probably not done. Yeah.
Even a lot of competency.
Yeah, a lot of different people doing the right thing, and technically, I don't want to say it's like people are normally exposed to this sort of stuff in the wild, and they don't get it. So, like, you have to have that damaged immune system in the first place, and then from there, you need close contact. But it seems like the human-to-human transmission no longer requires damaged immune systems. You're just more likely to it. But to get it from the rat droppings in the first place so that it goes to a human, you're in damaged immune system territory. So
yeah. But
so
it spread pretty easily on the cruise ship.
I found it interesting to find that the other woman wasn't anywhere near. She was on a different part of the ship, so they interacted somewhere on his fever day.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Terry? You were talking about you have a friend who's always going on things and always getting sick. Like, do you think she'd change her mind if hantavirus is one of the things she might get sick with? I mean, it just seems like if like this. I just feel like this has the potential to be like the turning point, and it could be something more serious. And I don't know.
You couldn't pay me to cruise.
I'm sure I could pay you to take a cruise, Jesse.
I'm not going on a cruise.
I'm sure if the goal was to pay Jesse to get on a cruise, I'm sure we could come up with a number.
I don't think so.
I was going to say, I don't want to go on a cruise, but if you paid me, I'd
yeah. For money.
I'm with Jesse. I don't think there's a number for me.
It sounds terrible.
Think about those people who have to work on them.
Yeah.
The floating petri dish.
Yeah.
I'd just wear my mask all the time. I'd sleep in it. I'd have air filters in my room, and I'd get paid.
So just as like a money-making operation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I respect.
I would go to retrofit the HVAC system and teach respirator etiquette.
There you go.
Paulie, you want to throw it?
I have a question for the group. Where, this has been a big headline, but where are we at currently with bird flu? I haven't heard much about that lately. Did they just successfully bury it?
There was a confirmed case we were talking about that got identified recently. I was looking at it, and there was like a new random strain something identified. It just, I don't really, like, we weren't ready to talk about it, but there was something recently about it, that there was a new, but nothing like spreading again between humans. This is such a great, because we were talking about, you talk about the COVID origin stuff, and you talk about zoonosis origin, like spillover, and I feel like these are two really great examples of spillover and how they actually occur and how we can like identify and like track them all. But I don't have the bird flu thing in front of me. Unfortunately, I have a whole tab section dedicated to bird flu, so searching for bird flu doesn't help me on my computer. But no, nothing's really going on with that. There was no, it's been really quiet. Both that and COVID have been really quiet. COVID's the lowest it's ever been. Still like insane. It was like 200,000 infections a day. but it's been really low, which it just makes me feel like in the midst of this, we're looking at like a big COVID wave coming right around the corner, which maybe, maybe all this talk about hantavirus might stall that, which would be great, that was somebody, I remember who mentioned the call. I think it was Heather.
Is it actually low though, or just nobody tests for it anymore?
Wastewater is low. So for whatever reason, there's less COVID in the poo. Could be the variants are less, but we've been seeing like influenza B is finally down, but influenza A is. I bet if you keep better track of this, influenza A is still going, but it's generally considered the less serious one. It's mild, folks. Don't worry about it.
That's correct, but flipped around. B is more mild and typically later in the season.
Oh, okay.
And it has been ongoing, but it's finally now getting down to pretty negligible numbers.
Yeah, the flu stuff is stark. Flu really needs it to be cold. Like, flu really needs it to be cold. Like, it's its whole shtick for big infections. When you get cold and, it's winter and your body needs more calories and your nose is the first place that, freezes up and you literally get infected more easily. So that's why if we start having flu surges in the summer, that's a really big problem. That's why COVID appearing in the summer is the COVID in the summer thing is weird because we it's almost like we really need we talk about vaccines for the school year, but it's almost like we need them for the beginning of summer, even earlier, because it's COVID is so low right now.
Because some people's schools, like my daughter's school, starts very beginning of August,
That's
August 7th
wild.
or something.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we need it even earlier than we're trying to aim for, because it seems like COVID really comes out when everything else goes away. And most of these other things need immunocompromised people or cold people to really surge. They're still around, but they're not and influenza specifically, which is so freaky, but influenza does multiplicity reactivation, which I am of the belief that COVID does as well. We call it reemergence or whatever, but multiplicity reactivation is when you get rid of even if there was no flu would reemerge in the winter season. You would have spontaneous infections in people because of multiplicity reactivation. Because it's a concept called multiplicity reactivation, and it's when you have broken strands of RNA of the virus and they combine inside of cells, they can recombine and make virus again. And it's a product, it's a thing that RNA viruses can do. So yeah, so this is even with the virus, the influenza strain that we killed off, really focusing on this, but it makes sense today. The strain we killed off, when we were in that discussion about removing that strain, or when that discussion was happening, I wasn't really in it, but when it was happening, it was about in some places where that virus had been dominant, they didn't want to get rid of it because it could reemerge there, even though it's been exterminated. It's crazy. Because people can have it for long periods of time. And that was actually one of my moments with persistence when we were listening to that. They're talking about flu being persistent. It is a known fact to these guys who are making vaccines that flu is persistent and it can reemerge. And you're so why wouldn't you think COVID could be persistent? It's the same in that capacity. So they're very different, obviously, but it's the RNA thing. Yeah. Anyways, the hantavirus stuff is wild, and I feel like if you're wearing a respirator, the risk is zero, and if you're most people, the risk is zero. If an outbreak is happening and you're wearing a respirator, your risk is still really low. But I suspect that you could get it in your eyes because it's mucal transfer. You can get it. You can get this from sex. This is a sexually transmitted thing, so it's in all your liquids. So it's coming out of you everywhere, which is gross. It actually really reminds me of which is similar to an Ebola. It's a less It's like Ebola's like little cousin. It's kind of hard to pivot to anything else after you're talking about this. It's such a like. I mean, if we want to talk about a stain on society in continued terms, we have the $1 billion ballroom that they're trying to sneak funding for into the next reconciliation bill.
You mean the $1 billion bunker?
The $1 billion bunker. Thank you, bunker. Yeah.
Or some people are saying it's a giant data center, like a very, secret data center with military secrets and stuff.
I just don't think you need that. Like, I don't know if you've seen a data center, but they're freaking enormous, and full of rare minerals. If anyone's interested, by the way, if anyone's into the rare mineral harvesting thing. No, it's they're really big. They're really, really, really big, and they need a lot of water. So they'd probably want to put that in like some rural place who can't fight back. When they try to build it, which is it's interesting to watch. I don't know if you guys saw the AI data center where they're pushing one through because of the guy from what is his name? That Republican douchebag who wore a Pokemon
Shark
card.
Tank.
Yeah, the Shark Tank guy. Yeah, he wore a Pokemon card on a diamond
Kevin
chain.
O'Leary.
Kevin, the guy I'm O'Leary about. Yeah. So I'm O'Leary about him for sure. Just his talk, he was going on about how all the protesters were bussed in to fight him. And they're like, what, people can't, like, commute together? Like, what the hell? The way he's like, it's all fake. All these people, they don't really not want me to build this. It's all fake. And they're just, like, pushing it through anyways. I don't know. We're at a real turning point with this, because it's, I don't know. Anyways, the $1 billion ballroom is obscene. Bunker, whatever's going on with that is just wild. And I feel like what we really should be focusing on is why did Trump release the hantavirus to distract us from the Epstein files? No kidding.
To distract us from the war, to distract us from the ballroom, to distract us from the...
Just to go back for the second, I want to go back to the hantavirus for 1 second, because there's one thing we forgot to say, because apparently a lot of people missed this. A lot of people missed there were 2 airplane rides, right, where the woman was on a 4-hour airplane ride and then got kicked off the next plane because they were like, you're way too sick, get the hell out of here. And then she died. So apparently they were right. But the other thing that everyone really missed is that they got it going bird watching at a dump.
Yeah, I thought you were kidding when you said that before, because I heard they went bird.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I spent too long thinking about the ballroom situation, and it reminded me of the dump that they caught a virus at. So just.
Are you gonna put your headphones on?
Oh
Oh
wait,
no, I just had flashbacks.
Okay.
what's that?
So all those celebrities singing "Imagine" by John
Don't worry about it.
Lennon in their mansions.
Harry, you're hot.
Singing Imagine? The bird watching at the dump reminded you of that?
We can't go back.
We're not going back. We're not going back.
No, it would be yeah. Oh man, yeah, that was bad. I was kind of tuned out when that all was going down. I was like, are you even serious right now? No, but this is the whole thing right now though. We got one dump site causing a potential viral outbreak, and then we have another dump site in DC that they're trying to get $1 billion for. And now it's coming out that they dumped the wing that they destroyed. They dumped it on like a golf course somewhere, and it's full of toxic metals. So it's like poisoning the ground it's on because it wasn't
You're
all handled.
kidding.
No,
I haven't heard that.
no, I'm not kidding. I read a lot. Yeah, it's like wow, they have figured out to just do this in the worst imaginable way possible. So yeah,
Well, it's bad enough that when they were demolishing it, all those toxic materials were being released into the air.
yeah. The whole thing is wild because like there was wood in that building from trees that don't exist anymore because they got wiped out when they like deforest the area. It's just like
It's like just because you're president and you get to live there doesn't mean you get to act like it's your own house that you can just like build an addition when you feel like it on the taxpayers'
Well,
dime.
I mean, they're really not supposed to, yeah. And apparently, I found out we actually have 1,000 square foot ballroom already for the president to use. Like, there's one that we have already.
Probably didn't have enough gold in it.
You can always add. Just start spray painting shit. It's fine. Yeah, we already. It's fine. Yeah, and I just like how they're trying to say it's privately funded. Just like the whole thing when they're like putting it in the. It's just so ridiculous. The whole ballroom thing is such a he's such an embarrassment, and I do feel like they have to get this through before Congress is going to change. Like even with all the gerrymandering, which I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the gerrymandering that's going on, they're making states like completely red or completely blue, like just completely gerrymandered out the teeth, and I don't think it's really going to have a huge effect on representation because the districts were already gerrymandered very carefully. So, like, on the basis that people don't show up to vote. So, like, okay, so everyone just shows up to vote. They'll get cleaned. They'll get this totally cleaned out. So, it's, I don't know. The whole thing is freaky, though. Is freaky because you're like, what if it works? And, what if it were? And they're certainly trying. So, I mean, I think it's really important to say, like, I think that's why the Democrats' response is so important because you can't sit around and like wait to do something about this. You gotta act. So, man, what a shitty day for news. It's just, except for a little bit of good news. Before we talk about Iran, what's going on there? Alligator Alcatraz might close.
Yay.
I don't know. I feel like there's so much subtext to how like a lot of these things are getting the federal government's putting up money. There's a bunch of money to buy these units and do all this stuff and all this sort of thing. But apparently DeSantis has been paying $1 million a day to run this thing.
Of our goddamn tax dollars, yeah.
And state tax dollars are real tax dollars, by the way. We'll talk a lot about federal taxes versus state taxes, but state tax dollars are real tax dollars. Those are and don't you guys even already have like the least amount of taxes? Like one of the least amount of taxes in the whole country. So I don't know how that's supposed to work, but
They have income tax, no, and they want to get rid of property tax too. So I don't know how the hell we're going to pay for anything.
Yeah, I mean you'd completely be like federal like money all day is the only way that would work.
No, he doesn't like to take federal money either. I think he just doesn't want us to have any government here and just all, fight tooth and nail and die.
So just like Mad Max.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen.
Probably closer to Waterworld though, when everything's underwater.
Yeah, well, true. Good point.
Yeah, just to clear it up. Classic, by the way, horrible movie. And if you weren't alive for when Waterworld came out, by the way, it was his follow-up to the Wolves, Dances with Wolves, which is just one of the
Dances with Wolves.
most fantastic.
What was a great movie.
Still completely holds up. Fantastic movie. But then he followed it up with Waterworld, and you're like, what is this? What is this? They shot half a good movie, to be fair. The other half of the movie was the zaniest comedy. It reminded me of the Super Mario Brothers movie, which ironically had the same villain. So maybe it's just the villain. Yeah, they have the same villain in both, the same actor. What is his name? Yeah, he has a really campy performance.
But when you can get Kevin Costner with long hair on a horse, he's awesome.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper is the villain.
Yeah.
Random point of the day. So Alligator Alcatraz closing be freaking fantastic. Florida's already a mess. All the ICE detention centers need to be closed. I don't feel like we're making a hard enough push that all of they should not exist. Like, that should be the first step of whatever is going to happen with ICE. Is all of those things need to be just removed and sold for scrap. All those people need to be just like released in their home cities. In their home cities they were taken from, not their home cities that they think, because most of these people aren't even illegal. They're just brown. Like, they just hold people. And that's what's crazy about Alligator Alcatraz, because I would have thought, Terry, that they would be getting federal money at some point for this. You know what I mean? Like, paid back. Like, they're putting up $1 million. How long is it? They've had it for like a year already, hasn't it?
Who doesn't pay anybody for anything?
I know. That was you beat me to it. That was my joke. Yeah, it's just more proof Trump doesn't pay for
sorry,
anything.
yes.
No, perfect. It's perfect. You're amazing. Thank you. You were in my head. Yes, exactly. Trump doesn't pay for anything, and this is just another example of him not paying for Alligator Alcatraz, which, I mean, good, I guess, and this one time it kind of works out. But that story's only 5 hours old, so we'll see how it goes. But really, the sooner that's gone and done, the better we can, keep going. But Jesse,
Yes.
I want to talk about the Iran war in 1 second.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that real fast here, but I do want to talk about comments for VRBPAC. We
Yeah.
do comments on VRBPAC, which is a vaccine-related biological group that does all the vaccine stuff for approval, and we're always trying to get them they're the first step of getting COVID vaccines out, so having that meeting earlier is a really important part of that whole thing. But we also had a couple other points, and I actually have not been working on it this year. It's been between Biff and Polly. So which one of you two, Polly, you want to say anything about? You've been making some videos about it already.
Sure. Well, you can check out Biff's talking points. I posted some similar ones. We're trying to drive some comments to, on one hand, push for the variant that we have discussed and think is the best option to choose. Obviously, still pushing for pediatric Novavax, as well as a number of other things that are on the list. But yeah, those are some of the big ones, and jump in if there's any more. But you can see the full list, and it's pretty easy. It's what we've been doing for years. You file the form into public comment, fill it out, and we'll go from there. But at this point, it's we're interested in, just getting the variant selected. Obviously getting it out on a different timeline. We are still pushing for that before the school year, and we're going to keep at it. But yeah, we definitely need those comments, so keep them coming.
Yeah, I think we have XFG as like our default still, but it's going to be like an XFG derivative, and we haven't really been getting good wastewater data. So we basically, like, if you're following this, guys, there's a lot of talk about BA32, which is something to keep an eye on, but it's been something to keep an eye on for like a really long time. And we've been keeping an eye on it, and it kind of does a little something, and it kind of teeters out. But the problem is we're not getting new data right now. So it's tough to say what's actually happening. So it kind of leaves people, whoever has a particular thinking can say, oh, it's how I think it is now. And I feel like we really don't know, because wastewater's gotten so bad. If something else is like taking off, looked like something between NB181 and XFG, and I don't feel like, and then BA32 was making some noise. So I feel like it'll be interesting to see from the vaccine manufacturers what they think is the better thing to aim for. And I feel like it's like whatever are the vaccines we currently have that are the least effective on, and that's somewhere between XFG and BA32, and XFG is the most common variant, so and has been for some time. And again, you're back to the issue why BA32 does what it does. It just doesn't spawn as many immune evasive variants. That could change between now and VRBPAC, but we'll I haven't made my final call, but I definitely am saying, like, the BA32 hype is not the train to get on for this year, though that could change. That's the whole thing, right? It's a developing situation.
Right.
I think
That's
we
my
also
whole
have to
thing is
look-
that. Go ahead, Polly.
No, I think we also have to look at, these variants come and go very quickly. So it's, they peak, and at this point, to your point, it's pretty low transmission rates right now, and it's always about like what's going to be the thing in 3 to 6 months, which is admittedly hard to predict.
Right, for sure. Like you said, Don, my whole thing is just that I think people are focusing entirely on BA.3.2 too much. And so that's my only comment that I'm making with VRBPAC is I think we need to stay away from BA.3.2. And outside of that, I think the manufacturers are probably going to have the best data on what the best target is going to be within the JN1 lineage, whether that's XFG, NB181. I trust, with the little data that we have, I probably trust Sanofi and Novavax more at this point to make that determination. But I just don't want to see everyone fall into the trap of chasing after BA.3.2.
Yeah, that's my whole thought process. I feel like it's like people want to get on this, like, but we've just seen it. They want to get on this thing where it's like, oh, it's going to be this thing, and like honestly, COVID's been kind of boring lately, which is good, right? Like that shouldn't be a bad thing. That should be a good thing. We have all this exciting hantavirus to deal with now. No, I prefer that we get, like they should have caught the hantavirus much faster. They were in a location where it could be there. It's disappointing that they should have just caught it with the first guy. That woman never should have gone on an airplane. That would have been the end of it, right? If they had actually caught it properly initially, then like a lot more people could still be alive. And there's only a couple people died so far, but there probably will be more. But then you're like looking at COVID and like we really need to clean the air. We really need these more sanitary conditions. It's just like we need people to understand like this is a real problem. And I do feel like what's interesting is like, with the hantavirus, people are recognizing that spread through the air and masks and staying home and all these things are tools that work, right? We're hearing people talk about it in that way, and you're like, but do you understand like that's happening all the time? And like you really, I don't know. I feel like on one hand you want to be like a little bitter with people because like clearly you know how it works, why aren't you doing it right? And you're like, well, maybe it's just really the strength of the propaganda that we're up against. So there's just really, something to just keep in mind when we're talking to people, that this is a good time to coax people into taking protective measures again, even if it's not for COVID or it is for COVID or it's for whatever it is. Like just having airborne protections. Like I feel like even talking about airborne protections, like COVID is like the goal of how high a protection you need because it spreads so easily. But you're like, any amount of airborne protections will handle some of these things. So it would be nice to see, I hope this is pushback to the pushback we've seen against just public health in general. Like, what were you saying, Terry? We're too libertarian? Everyone's too, like...
Oh, yeah, that's a libertarianism has, like, taken over everybody's brains, and now we can't do anything in public health because every directive is taken as an impingement on my freedom. I can't wear a mask. It's tyranny. I couldn't possibly quarantine. It's tyranny. And I'm not going to get a vaccine give my kid a measles vaccine. It's tyranny. I'm just astounded at where we're at right now.
It's like, do they know what tyranny actually looks like, or do they already have?
Don't. They're idiots.
But or is it a statement of they have so much little freedom, and they're just like it's part of like the maintaining the control of what freedom that they have. You know what I mean? So I feel like so out of control that this little bit of what they can hold on to, and it's really the wrong thing to hold on to. But I kind of see how like people just feel out of control, and this is one thing they can control, and
is whether they get sick and die by being dumb.
Well, yeah. Well, I said earlier, don't correct him about the ivermectin.
That's going around as a cure for hantavirus now. I've already seen that.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't have the right mechanism. It does apparently have a mechanism for blocking nucleus or something, but it doesn't have the right mechanism because hantavirus replicates in the cytoplasm, not in the nucleus. So it doesn't even get inside the cell that way. So It's so gross. The more I visualize it, the more it just feels like worms in my skin. Ugh. Jesse,
Hello, Don.
the hell is going? What the hell is going on in the Middle East? Because we're talking a lot about all these other places. I feel like we're going around the world for all the devastation.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like we were talking about the other night, you know, Donald Trump called off Operation
Epstein Fury. Epstein Fury.
Epic and Epstein Fury, yeah. And then he announced that so-called Project Freedom, which was, you know, going to be guiding the ships through the strait.
Apparently, that's the one where we all don't get vaccines. That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning.
Operation Freedom,
Yeah,
where nobody has to do anything for public health. No.
Right. Right.
Or anything for the common good.
Hey, you guys need to remember what they did to us during COVID, okay? They made me stay in my house for like 2 weeks. You know how much I hate my kids? I love my kids. That's my
I
character.
love that. People are saying, never forget what they did to us during COVID. And our crowd is like, yeah, they let it rip. They got everybody disabled. No, they're like, they made us wear masks for 2 days and we couldn't go out of our house. It was tyranny. It was horrible.
Yeah, there's an article, unrelated but similar idea. There's an article going around about how there's a group who wants to oust the DNC chairman for whatever. And everyone's like, yeah, guy's not progressive enough. I'm like, guys, the people who want to oust him or want to do it because he's not conservative enough. Not because he's not progressive enough. I'm just like, oh.
It's weird they forget the millions of people around the world that died. The reason why we were supposed to be, you know, staying inside for a short period of time like that and wearing masks.
Well, that was all those other people. That was never going to happen.
Yeah.
It just that's sort of left out of it. It's like they forget that part. They just remember when they had to do something that they didn't want to do.
I go back to the Sonder idea on this one because people just don't see other people as people. You know what I mean? Like the people who die, the people who do whatever. They don't really have like the idea of Sonder is like we're all the leads in our own story. Yeah. Right? And these people don't have that presence of mind to understand that with people who die. Like they just it's a complex idea, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting observation.
They don't have the ability to like see.
Also with COVID destroying the frontotemporal lobe. Yeah, I mean, you know, isn't that where empathy comes from?
Yeah, but that's assuming they had empathy to be damaged in the first place. You know, because there's also, let's not forget, football is entrenched in American culture. Well, you're talking about Americans at least. Entrenched in American culture, and like, let me tell you about how much frontal lobe damage you get in that. You know, so it's sort of like it kind of goes on, and anything that suffocates your brain from blood can damage it enough to make you like less kind and empathetic and understanding because you lack the ability to examine the world from that thing's perspective. So it's like the whole idea is like I have to like, you know, if you're gonna like kill an animal, it's like can you look at yourself through that animal? Do you know what I mean? The people who would kill the animal generally, unless it's like for food or whatever, that's a different story. But like people who are like cruel, they can't experience that. They don't see the pain the dog is experiencing or whatever, you know. So
yeah.
So that's just it's the same thing with humans, you know. People don't see, you know, humans are just animals in the same sense, and they just can't see because it doesn't matter what it is. They can't see this thing outside of themselves. It's kind of like an extension of the people who don't know what they don't know. Like we always talk about the strength of one of our group. I feel like is that we know what we don't know. So it's like I don't know. So I'm not afraid. You can go look it up, figure it out. Now I know. Maybe I know. Maybe I don't. But I know I didn't know. And it sounds weird. It sounds like some sort of like word game. But it's you know, it's just an extension of that. The people who don't know what they don't know are always the people who they don't know where the risk is. They don't know where the harm is. They don't know that they don't know something they need to know. They also sell seashells by the seashore, so heads up on that.
Speaking of frontal lobe damage,
yeah, right.
With Donald Trump and the war, so Project Freedom was very short-lived. It's now over. He called it off.
Oh my God!
In the past,
what was that like? 1 day?
That's so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it lasted like 24 hours. So that's no longer the mission. But he's keeping the blockade in place. And remember I was saying last time that I felt like Barak Ravid from Axios is sort of like the stenographer for Israel and the United States establishment.
Okay.
They released this story that Donald Trump had this one-page memo that Iran was getting ready to sign. And like 70 minutes before that, all this suspicious oil market activity happened before this story came out. So it seems like they were playing around. But anyway, again, this is something that Iran knew nothing about. They knew nothing about this one-page memo.
Of course not, because it feels like, just reminds me of someone talking to all his debtors, being like, no, the guy's going to sign the deal. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I got this thing tomorrow. We're going to get together for breakfast. I'll let you know by the afternoon. It'll all be done. Then the next day rolls around. The guy's like, oh, I don't know. Nothing's happening. You know what I mean? It's just like, like constantly buying one day, with fake solutions. And you're just like, ugh, God, the rich are so annoying.
And they're really pumping those future markets. It's not reality.
No. Well, even the oil prices we're seeing now aren't reality, because we're not seeing shortages yet. We're like seeing prices go up because it's like gouging on the basis that they will see a shortage, maybe. You know what I mean?
According to, there's a guy from the Carlyle group that was talking to Bloomberg the other day that he's saying that the shortages are coming. The tanks are going to run empty.
Yeah,
and
they are, but it's not yet.
No, but even if we go completely back to normal now, it's going to take months and months to get back even to some semblance of normal. Like as far as and they don't know the damage to the oil production there. It's really bad. We just haven't seen any of it yet. Like it's to me.
We are seeing the cleaner pictures of the devastation caused by Iranian strikes on American bases. And they're just one clean hit after another. Just every building is destroyed, every plane is destroyed, every barracks. I mean, I really believe the accounts of injuries based on because apparently, if you didn't hear, Trump was forcing American satellite companies to hide images. So somebody went to the European satellites and they got all the imagery, and it's really bad.
They want us out of the Middle East.
I think we are out of the Middle East. They blew everything up.
They fished their wish.
Yeah, they blew everything up. That's the thing. Like, I think people don't understand. Like, because some people are arguing about how America is winning the war and yada, yada, yada. And you're like, guys, we're like 40 years of base building in the Middle East got wiped out in like an evening.
Even with that AI image of him holding the handful of wild Uno cards.
Oh, my God.
You saw that?
Yes. I've never played Uno, and even I know you're supposed to have no cards to win.
You're supposed to have no cards. And the guy who has one card is the guy who's about to win.
Yeah, he's like, I have all the cards. And you're like, God, you're an idiot. God damn.
But yeah, no, they definitely hold all the cards here. Iran does.
Yeah, unless we want to nuke them, which is why Trump keeps talking about nukes.
And it escalated today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so they hit a couple of Iranian oil tankers, and then Iran basically targeted 3 of our destroyers, and they left the strait. And then the U.S. started to attack a naval base in.
They shot our boats?
Yeah.
Oh.
But we are not admitting to CENTCOM. Is refusing to say that they actually hit the boats. So we don't even know whether they hit the boats.
But why else would they have to leave?
They took off, yeah.
They
admit to leaving. They do admit to leaving the strait. But they don't admit that if any damage happened. But yeah, we'll see. And then Fox News came out and said that this doesn't mean we're restarting the war. And it doesn't mean that the ceasefire was broken.
Yeah, they can't restart the war until the 30 days is up. Because technically, ending the war at 60 days doesn't end the actual war. It takes another 30 days of retreat before his time is used up, and then he'll go back to war after that.
Right, but it's like words don't even mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like they're literally firing on each other, and the ceasefire is not broken, and we didn't go back to war.
Yeah, that sounds right. That feels like a thing that would happen.
Yeah.
On this timeline, just doesn't make any damn sense.
I really wonder how I'm going to do my job actually in the future because I do a lot of driving.
Oh, the oil thing, yeah. You're gonna have to your work is gonna have to do because man, there's gonna have to be like stipends for gas. It's gonna get nuts.
They better. I mean, they gave us a raise of like 10 cents a mile. What to do? But if this gets like it's going to get, nobody's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, gas is going up here about $1, at least at my local station. It hasn't really like gone, but it was already very high. So we went from like $5 to $6, and I have all the gas coupons I can get, so I get at least $1 off. So I don't really feel it as bad. But like, if you're talking about like $2-3 a gallon going up to 5 gallons, you have like a $2 increase in some places. That seems like that could be a lot of money for people really fast.
Terry, was the 10?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Was the 10-cent increase since this happened? That 10-cent increase?
Yeah. Yes, it was. It was, and it's still not enough. I mean, well, they're so cheap. They really care about us, so they gave us an extra 10 cents a mile.
Like, here's your...
I can easily drive 50 miles in a day.
Here's your Iran dime.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Wow.
But that's just one example. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
So many things.
Not just gas. I mean, I saw the story about, like, I forget which country it was, about potatoes, and that the bags that the potatoes go in, they don't have anymore. And it's manufacturing these bags are becoming scarce. So it's like so many different things this is gonna touch. I don't know. It's the biggest thing happening right now. I really feel like this is gonna change everything.
Everything. I can't even wrap my head around it, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue it's already in the process of changing everything. Like it's all, like you said, even if we went back to normal now, there's no going back to normal. There is no normal to go back to. It's all changed, and that's sort of like, it's going to be interesting to see how, I don't know, the whole thing is just going to be, you might as well call it interesting because we're about to watch it anyway, so there's no reason not to try to enjoy the most.
And even if things go back to a certain, like, production of I mean, we should be getting off of oil anyway, but even if things go back, it's like the whole system is going to be completely different for how things are distributed and how things, like I was saying earlier, I don't think I said it on here, but the United Arab Emirates left OPEC. With OPEC for 65 years, and they help control sort of the prices of oil that we don't know how they're going to handle. Like, why are they doing that? Why are they leaving OPEC? You guys have any theories?
I have no idea.
I mean, they could then change prices at will, I guess. For their problem?
Maybe they feel like they'll get better. Oh, yeah, no, they're going to make a bunch of money. So the reasoning is, I looked it up real fast. They're saying it is to prioritize its national interests and maximize production of roughly 3.6 to 4.8 million barrels per day. So basically, they want greater autonomy to sell oil however they want, and they're just going to sell it at however rate they... Because the thing about OPEC is, it controls how much these countries release. So the market's hot right now, and they're like, screw you guys, we're going to make all of our money. They're going to get that bag.
And that's all to try to keep prices under control.
No, they just want the money. I don't feel like this is about... OPEC is. Okay, price under control, or is it about power? And so I think it's more about power. I think the price under control is a secondary effect because there's a lot of reasons the price of oil has come down, and releasing more oil, like releasing less oil keeps the price artificially high. So like if anything, it would it keeps the price higher. But now if the price is like going through the roof and there's not enough oil and all these things are getting destroyed, then it just makes sense. They're like, we're just going to cut on our own and sell everything we can as fast as we can while it's high.
Right.
Also, what's their relationship with Russia too? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and all these, it's just things are the world is changing
with us and Israel. Like, Israel's just sent them like some of their Iron Dome technology,
Right.
and we sent them a bunch of weapons. So I mean, it's kind of fueling the fire.
Yeah. What a choice of words there, by the way. I would just say everything's going really great. I feel like that's the takeaway from all this. Everything seems like it's going really great.
I'm gonna put alien disclosure on my bingo card.
Oh, right. Yeah. The next
'Cause that's gonna explain how the ships are getting bombed without us being at war. It's gonna distract us from everything, right?
It was aliens. We didn't bomb Iran and break
Right.
the ceasefire. It was the aliens that live in the ocean. They just happen to wear clothing just like our battleships.
Exactly.
It's freaky. It's freaky, let me tell you.
Are they also involved with the wastewater problem?
The aliens?
Everything.
I'm
telling you, it's all of it.
Man, cutting the wastewater right before the meeting is still. We haven't gotten anything, right? Like, nothing's changed
No.
except for that 1 week they keep editing over and over again.
Yeah, it hasn't updated.
Yeah, we were supposed to get it after a month, and that month was last Friday.
Oh, so they're not even making their once a month promise.
No.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
We sort of assumed that it would be on the first of the month, but like, it's weird that it's not.
No,
you
I
know?
don't think, yeah.
Yeah. I guess tomorrow is technically 1 month since they announced that they were moving to a 1 month schedule. So if you look at it like that,
Right. But we're still looking at data from for April 1st. That's what they have still on their site.
Is there any worldwide data? Because there's no, like, where, I feel like I shouldn't be asking this question like a live call, because I might be telling myself, but we have wastewater in Europe, don't we? Do we have nothing to look at from Europe? Like, I know, so like Mike Honey posts the samples that get into GISAID, which is still the worst named thing in history. But we've been seeing wastewater, so it's what's showing up, and because you don't need to test individuals for wastewater. It gives you a better idea of like where the population is at, assuming the variants go in wastewater, which is a whole issue to consider. Like, that cases might not be low, but we just have variants that don't pass through wastewater as easily. That's always a possibility. But we do see like hospitalization is really low, and these other things are really low. But and we are in kind of like a COVID's been in like a bit of a dead end. But I really want we need something substantial, like anything. All we have is Tag Huvac is meeting in a week, maybe, right? Something. We still don't have a date on that. They don't tell you until they hold the meeting.
right?
Which is obnoxious. If anyone you're listening and you know when the date of that is, we just expect it to be around the middle of the month, because that's kind of when they hold things.
That seems like what we're holding out for. They're going to have probably the most data.
Yeah, it's just it's obnoxious that like all the public data is going away. You know what I mean? It's
But what's weird is that even for that meeting, they don't really release public data. They do that for the flu meetings, but not for the COVID meetings.
Great.
Yeah. Last year they did it on the first week of May, and then a week later, so like the 15th, they released their document saying this is what strains we say to select.
Right.
And then that was it. No data. We didn't even know the meeting happened until a week after. It's a really weird secretive process, and I don't see any reason for it.
I feel like the hantavirus stuff might keep them a little tied up for a week or two.
I don't know. I mean, they all have. It's a different group, right? And they're all. I feel like it's very compartmentalized, and this is obviously a very big deal, but it's how their organization is built to deal with this sort of thing. So I wouldn't think so, but I hope not.
We shall see.
Yeah, World Health Organization official document just says May. Scheduled for May. And you're like, do they know there are multiple days in May? Just curious.
I hope it's happening before Verpac.
It always is. It always is.
No, I know.
That's
but
why
yeah.
they do Verpac at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you guys know there are days.
But now that Trump cut us out of the WHO.
Oh boy. I think that's going to be one of the first things that gets fixed in whatever new people take over. I feel like that's going to be like the number one thing they do something about.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny part about it is we've been collaborating with them in every important way. We've continued that, which surprise, surprise, right?
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that they realized, wow, we really need to be doing that.
Yeah, we're just not
And they
paying
didn't-
for it now.
And they never changed that. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely gonna go back to the way it was.
Trump just doesn't like paying anyone.
Yeah, he won't even pay for his concentration camps. God, dude. How the worst fascist dictator ever.
I still can't believe that alligator Alcatraz wasn't being paid for.
I know, I was so surprised when I read it. I thought for sure the federal government was reimbursing them.
Makes no
Well,
sense.
now Ron DeSantis is happy to spend Floridians' money on all kinds of stuff like that. Lawsuits, concentration camps, redistricting.
Yeah. Man, well, it's not a great time for anything. Speaking of not a great time for anything, just putting this out there, there is a little bit of the DNC autopsy that caused the DNC debacle of 2024, whenever we did the election. Feels like it's forever ago. What a mess it was. There have been a lot of talk about how they didn't want to release the DNC autopsy because it was saying how much Gaza affected the thing. And so there's someone who says they've read it, and they said the problem with it is it's just garbage. It's just not very good. Like, it's just like there's like no real substance to it. So,
Yeah. But why do we believe that guy's opinion? Just release it.
yeah, no, totally. Well, I mean, I could see why, like, or make one a good one, like make a new one. Like, did you waste a bunch of money on got a crappy product back? Like, fix that. That's, I feel like, a big issue in my opinion. Like, if they did do a bad job on it, then it's like, well, do a good job on it. What's so hard about that? I don't get it.
I mean, it seems pretty important to know what went wrong and what possibly to do right in the future.
Yeah. I think it's like one of these things, like, we know what went wrong. I feel like it's not like a big...
We do.
Yeah, no, I think they know. Like, everyone knows. Like, here's the thing. This is what went wrong. It was really all about why Biden needed to step down, right? Biden didn't need to step down because of the cognitive issues, though they were a problem. The problem really was that he was so unpopular because of the situation in Gaza, and all of the people who he needed to canvass for him were protesting him. And we were watching the protests in all the cities at the time, all over the place. And we were like, why do you protest Democrats and not Republicans? Because the Democrats should listen to us. The Republicans aren't going to listen. We know they're not. Protesting them has little effect. But the Democrats, when you protest them, they should be listening to their Democratic base. And that's why he was going to lose. So when he kind of came out in that debate and couldn't hold a sentence, it wasn't that, oh my God, this guy's geriatric. It was, oh my God, this guy cannot fix his place in the polls. So then to take Kamala as a new candidate and then not change any of those policies that were unpopular to the voters, it's just about not listening to the voters. That was the problem. So like when you come down to like what is happening, it's that simple. And then they say, well, we were trying for a ceasefire. That's not good enough. I hate this like wimpy, you know, super soft Democratic presidents who are like, we don't have the power to do that. Well, have a court tell you that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why don't you go try and then see what happens? Because you might be able to do it. And that's the thing, like we've learned with Trump, is they do whatever they want, and if you get a court ruling, you can really do whatever you want. There's no reason we couldn't be using this for good and still be following the law. So like this like weak sort of like Democratic presidents can't do anything. It's just, I'm so tired of it.
Because they just weren't. It's they could have. They just refusing to do anything about
There
it.
was no leadership. There was
They
no
didn't want to do
leadership. No, exactly. At least I'll give Trump this when it comes to Israel and also he's always trying to look strong on them, like to them. He doesn't look like someone who's being pushed around by them. And both Harris and Biden looked like they were being pushed around by the people who wanted to slaughter children in their sleep. And then that just put people in charge who are fine with slaughtering children in their sleep. So that's sort of the catch-22 of it. But the thing is, like, I'm not going to vote for that. I'm not going to vote for slaughtering children in their sleep. Like, I've been pretty anti-capital punishment my whole life until this court case that just came up yesterday where the guy got sentenced to death for a 2022 rape and murder. I don't know if I can even say this shit. It's the most horrifying stuff. Completely, the entire thing is on video. Recording.
No way.
Like,
I didn't hear about this.
The entire thing. I don't want to drag around the call. It is the most horrible. It's such an it's an insight into a situation that nobody wants to have. And I have little girls, you know what I mean? My mom's doing my wife is doing the super mom contest right now. I got 2 little girls, and just like the thing that's going on has completely changed my mind in this instance. Like normally I'm like, well, you don't really know. Did he really? This is like the whole thing's on recording. You're like, absolutely. Death penalty.
I think with that
Absolutely.
though, the thing isn't that nobody ever deserves it. The thing is that you can't allow the state to have that sort of power.
See, that's the thing.
That's the big thing.
I think the state does have that kind of power, and it's just a matter of how it uses it. Saying the state can't have that power, the state does have that power because they'll kill you with a police officer in a mental health episode with even less, with no conviction. So, like, the truth is, it does have that power, and being honest about that helps us make it happen in only the most extreme situations. If you just say, like, they shouldn't have that power, then they're just going to do whatever they want with it. It's like, you're better off setting a baseline with your kid, or else they'll just run all over you. Except in this case, they're murdering. So, there's that. But I just, I've always been against it. My point is that, but you see these people who are, like, perfectly fine with it, and they, like, almost lust for it. You know what I mean? They're like, it's scary that we share society with those people. It's scary. Because you're like, yeah. Anyways, so I do have this thing coming up. I did figure out. So I've been working on this Novavax versus mRNA thing for like 2 years probably, and I've done a lot of different takes on it where I've like going through so many half-written articles. But I got it down. To 15 main points, and I'm just filling in the stuff to explain it, and I'm going to have it out here really, really soon, and I'm hoping. A lot of people have been asking me, because people have come to me and be like, it feels like, Don, we've seen the data. You've shown me the data. We've seen the things. We know how it's working, but then you go on the internet and you go to one of the AI bots or Google and you ask us these questions. It feels like the thing has been gamed to make it look like they're the same. This is 100% true in what has happened. And so I'm really hoping that this will be a good piece of data for people. It should be easy to read, easy to connect with. Even if you don't agree with all 15 points, there's at least 6 or 7 that someone can latch onto to understand it's better. So and hopefully we can use, because I feel like right now when COVID numbers are low, that's when we should double up our vaccine. That's when we should double up our preparations, because you're like, well, let's get these things really low. Like, we can get it lower. Let's get it lower.
Singapore just confirmed that 2 people off the ship are in Singapore and they are sick and they want to.
Oh, fuck me. Did you guys hear that? Did anyone hear that?
No, what happened?
My wife just gave me an update from behind. That sounded weird. It's like a reach around update. So basically she said 2 people in Singapore symptomatic, confirmed hantavirus.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Were they on the ship? Do we know anything else?
I don't know. I just got the update.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe they were on the ship, and we knew that we had confirmation for a while that they were being quarantined and isolating. But yeah, we did not know that they were positive until now.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been on the ship. Yeah. 67 and 65. Both men in their 60s.
Sounds like it spreads easy and it's airborne.
2 men who arrived in Singapore at different times. We learned nothing from COVID. No, I don't think we have. I shouldn't laugh at this, but this is awful. This is terrible news. Because the thing is like, how does this get worse? Well, you have more cases pop up, and then you have more people that don't know they were exposed, and then you have more. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just, I really hope that this doesn't go out of control. I just hope it. I'm going to go on the hopium on this. I don't want this to go bad. I just don't. I don't think it'd be good. I don't think it'd be funny. Like, it could get really bad. I don't.
Isn't this what we've been expecting, though? That there will be cases like this? And they are trying to, each country, is trying to keep the people isolated.
Yeah, I would say it is. I feel like, well, the Legionnaires has been surging for a while. Laura Myers, we had a good talk about that a long time ago, and I got her, back in 2020, I got her looking that up, because she was like, we're looking for the immune suppression, and she just always shows new cases. And Legionnaires is the sign of, like, mass immune suppression. So we had the signs were there that something like this, but also, these people are in their 60s and 70s. It's just like, I think it is actually a good way to look at it is, we talk about COVID as like putting you like a little bit ahead of where you would. So like a disease that might work or might hit you in like your 70s, 80s, like to be enough immune compromised that these things can affect you. It's like more like 80 years old. Like usually you're older, a little bit older, but because of COVID and these things, it's happening with younger people. So you're seeing more immune suppression, making them more vulnerable, making more things happen. And then the real problem is we don't want this hantavirus getting a bunch of hosts in chains and having, we think it doesn't evolve that well. Well, we haven't given it the opportunity either. So that's where I am. Like, I feel like we're giving it the opportunity right now. And so
with COVID, 50 is the new 80.
It's true.
Oh, God.
That's true. Learning to live with COVID, 50 is the
It
new
actually
80.
is true.
Yeah, it's 100% true. Especially since we're learning more about the cancer thing. We were talking about that on the show. Last show was the neutrophil extracellular traps, NETs, that they're discovering. We kind of like... We've been talking about this for a while, but now we've confirmed that they're what is at like the core of the blood clots, and that those things move cancer around your body. So if like the system that goes dysfunctional, it's called your DNA system, capital D, capital N, lowercase ASES. If they go dysfunctional, then your the NETs don't get cleared, and then they pass cancer around. So that's why you're seeing all this metastasized stage 4 cancer, because the distinction between stage 1, 2, and 3, and 4 is metastasizing, and usually that only happens after 3. Stage 3 gets really, really bad, but we're seeing a lot of jumps from stage 1 to stage 4, where cancer from one organ is showing up in the cancer in other organs way faster than usual. So it's there's a very clear mechanism for that now, which is scary, and we don't have a lot to treat it. We just don't. I've only seen like a drug use for alcoholism, supposedly they think might help. You're like, that's weird. That's a weird. Because going after the blood clots isn't the solution. You have to go after the dysfunctional DNA system that cleans out your blood clots. And like, the woman who confirmed the NETs thing recently was published in another study talking about long COVID, and she didn't even mention that stuff. Which, by the way, there's a recent long COVID study that came out. It's about 10 pages long. I think I want to do like a formal like response to it because it's an abomination. It's a total abomination. There's some good points and there's some good work. One good Dr. Beckman work, and love her. She's fantastic. It's the only reason I haven't publicly come out against the thing, because she's like, they're using her like human shield. I like her so much. But just the whole thing is horrible. But they didn't even include their own work in it, which I found very frustrating. They didn't even include examples of their own work. Like, what's the point, guys? You gotta show the thing. So that's it. I feel like everyone just needs to when the long COVID world and COVID consciousness, I just feel like people need to do better. I don't know what else to say. We need to do better. And I think the hantavirus is a good opportunity to get more people on board, at least with like protections, and at least, you know, be aware that these events are going to become more common. You know, I feel like that's the thing. Because, I mean, who could have guessed the guy's going to breathe in rat droppings at a garbage dump? I mean, who would expect? Literally everyone. Literally everyone. I just like, what does that brochure for that cruise look like? Where they're like, come on a scenic bird gazing mission at a public landfill. Like that. What does their scuba diving look like?
Bird nerds are a whole different species.
Oh my god! It's like you can get bird flu and hantavirus at once. It's like our outdoor swimming, our snorkeling is like in a big pool of chum.
Yeah, I like birds as much as the
There
next.
was an RFK on that cruise.
Well, from what I understand, I don't think the bird watching trip was part of the cruise. They just joined the cruise after that.
Oh, okay, all right. That doesn't make it better. That doesn't make it better.
They were birders who then went on a cruise.
We were on a cruise after a dump.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it makes it better if there weren't like all 160 people on this ship at that watching birds at a landfill.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe it was a smaller group.
It's like one of the stops. The cruise pulls over on an island, and they all get off to go to the dump, and they watch birds.
Yeah,
and then
exactly. They're passing out like smelling salts, so you don't just sniff it or something. Like, it's just the whole thing is comical. I don't know. Maybe they have very special birds at this dump. I assume that must be the thing. It's like, yeah, they eat all the extra rats. You're like, oh my god, huge birds. I have no idea. I feel like we're going to learn a lot more about this story. But again, the woman is dead, and the couple is dead, so we're only going to get so much. But I assume she had time to tell people about where they were and what happened so they could figure it out. When did we... Actually, here's a question for the group. When did we actually discover it was hantavirus? Because he died, like, last month, right? The original carrier... But he died last month, didn't he? It was like, what was the date on that? Do you have that?
Right, April 11th.
April 11th.
So almost a month.
So he was dead on the ship for
boy.
like 2 weeks before they got him off there, and then that put her right in the window to be contagious on the airplanes. Oh my god! But like, when did and we didn't discover it was hantavirus?
It's almost a month ago.
Like, did they? Because they just didn't check it. Like, I don't know. I have so many questions. Like, when they actually figured out it was hantavirus and that it was like spreading. I guess you get more. They had a third person on the boat get sick, so I don't know.
It's a 6-week incubation period.
I just know I want more details. You know what I mean? I want more details. We've been pretty good on it, so it's you know what it all means. It was interesting to see though the case of the transmission of in 2020 was it 2018, whatever it was.
Yes. Yeah,
that was
2018.
an indoor transmission. So like I feel like I've said this before. You really are gonna need to be like in spitting distance of people who are infected. Like it's not gonna be. It could aerosolize, like right. It could in the right circumstances, but like. for the most part, you really need to be like, there's a pretty good contact. Now that could change, right? The more hosts it gets, the more it changes. So I definitely want to keep an eye on it. Don't listen to the people who are like, oh, the variant's only 99%. They're all 99% of each other. It's that 1% that we're always worried about, just like the rich. All right. Does
I'd rather
anyone
operate from the like safety first position. Like,
yeah, don't go on a cruise after visiting a dump site to watch birds. You'll be golden.
Assume it is fully aerosolized.
Yeah,
Try not to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at least we do have some grasp on it. It's just going to be interesting to see how people pop up and if we can get a handle on it before, before we. There's always, I don't know. I feel like we're going to be finding people for like every 40 days. We're going to have a new group of people who are sick. Like I feel like, especially everyone being. Man, the longer this show goes, the reason I haven't ended the call is because the more I think about it, the more foreboding my feeling gets. Like the more I'm like, everything about this just seems like we're every 20 to 40 days we'll have a new case of patients pop up. It'll be just 2 or 3 here or there, but each one of those is just the virus getting more mutations, more strength, more changes, more. Could something shift? Yes. Is it likely to? Probably not, but it could. It absolutely could. So that's the more I talk about it, the more I hate it.
Rest assured, RFK's in charge here.
Oh God,
Yeah.
we should send him to that dump site so he can get immunity.
Yeah.
Ivermectin for the cure. Oh my God.
I gotta look up what birds are the dump birds. Now I'm curious.
I know. I really am curious too. We're gonna have to look at that. Hopefully, we'll have some information for everyone on the next call. So let's see. We got this hantavirus. We got $1 billion ballroom / bunker. Comments of Verpac. The Iran war is still. Man, Trump can really lose anything. He can really just totally lose anything. Oh, the only thing we didn't talk about is the mRNA for the flu is making the rounds. Again, very important to say. Everyone that talks about it is being super misleading because Biff, do you want to say it? I don't know if we're still.
Yes, yeah, sure. So the whole thing that they're pushing with this new mRNA flu shot, which Moderna is leading the charge, but Pfizer also has one that's shown very similar data that they're trying to put on the market soon as well. The whole thing is that they're about 25 to 35% more effective than the standard dose egg-based flu shot, but we already have one that's that effective. It's called Sanofi's Flublok, and it's been on the market for over a decade, and it was just about as effective, 31% more than the standard dose flu shot, and it comes with typical reactogenicity that you get with the flu shots, which isn't that severe, where if you go with the new mRNA shots that are supposed to be better instead, you're getting double or triple the side effects and the reactogenicity. So there's really just no reason to have them on the market. They're, in the common thread, just like with the COVID vaccines, they try to promote it as, well, you can update more quickly and you can match the emerging strains more quickly. But we don't have the capability of doing that with our bureaucracy as it is anyway. So unless we change something about the whole FDA system, the VRBPAC system, how we do strain selection, how we think of
There's no
mechanism.
There's no mechanism to make that change,
right.
basically.
Right. There's the way that our system is currently set up. There's no way we can take advantage of that anyway. So there's really just no reason for these shots to exist.
Yeah, I feel like these things are existing just to prove their own existence, and like if you actually read the data, they have to use really misleading terms to talk about it. And that's not to say they're not like technically safe or effective. It's just it's like the real difference between efficacy and effectiveness. Efficacy is like, well, it's very, it has high efficacy. It's like, well, what was your goal when you set what the efficacy should be? Is it high? What is it high relative to? And by saying it's relative to the standard flu dose, sounds much better than it actually is. So it's extremely misleading. And we were actually talking about with the flu with VRBPAC last time, and they were actually interested that we shouldn't call that. Like, the single dose flu shot should not be the standard dose flu shot anymore, because we know that the multi-dose, not the multi variant, but there's more actual like vaccine juice in it. You know what I mean? It has more stuff. Should be the new standard because it's a higher level of protective care. So like when you want to say like we're going to bring something to market and compare it to like what's available, it should be like not what was available in the 1980s, but what's available right now. And they're doing something really misleading with it with the public on this issue. And the more you look at it, the more you can't help but see it. Also, the AE on it is just kind of intense. Like in my opinion, the only reason these are being allowed to come to market is because of all the fomented distrust of this government that's like pushing these things through. Which, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Like, literally, just, there's only so much, at this point, there's only so much you can, like, fight against. And I think that, like, these things are already super unpopular, and once you show people the data points, which is the better actual product is pretty clear. Getting people to look at the data points and overlook the propaganda, on the other hand, not as easily done. Oh my goodness, not as easily done. But keep doing it, keep trying, do what we can. So I think that's it. So we had what we got. VerPack comments. Still, please don't freak out about the hantavirus, but also you're gonna keep an eye on it. Everyone's gonna talk about it. It's gonna be everywhere until it's not. It's a good time to talk to people though about protections and and don't sell it. Do yourself a favor. And this is my personal opinion, not the official opinion of the group. But don't try to sell it as like COVID protections. Just sell it as airborne respiratory protection, because like there's a lot more things than COVID. Because when COVID goes down, people go, "Oh, I don't need COVID protections anymore." And you're like, "Nah, you really should protect yourself from this other stuff too." But yeah, rhinovirus is still like causes long-term effects. You should less likely to, but it can. So like,
it's a good thing to not spread disease.
I feel like we should now the ivermectin stupidity is either kind of like ingrained or like worn off with people. I think talking about them in the term of parasites is really the key that's going to get people to understand like viruses are parasites. They're intracellular or obligate intracellular parasites. They're just not like worm parasites. They're like, little single-celled things. Not even cells, virons. So they're particles, which is what makes also like, God, I hate the particles thing. Makes sense though. It's just that they use it to make it seem like it's not all COVID. It's just COVID particles. You're like, that's what we call them though. That's what we call just SARS-2 is called particles because they don't have a nucleus, so we don't call them cells. Call them virons. Anyways, I think that's it. I just hope by the time we do another call, Alligator Alcatraz is already closed, but I know that's really asking too much. So, anyone have any final thoughts before we get out of here? Last minute, anything we miss?
Aliens.
Oh, right. Aliens. Thank you, Donna. As usual, it will be the aliens. Well, I mean, I feel like that's also something they've really telegraphed that they're going to use whenever, like, turns out aliens are real, and we're like, what about the lizard people in charge of the White House?
Look over there.
Yeah. They're just going to tell us about their alien enemies, not like, you know what I mean? They're like, here, be against them. They're the bad ones. It's just like alien racism will start, and it's going to be awful. I don't. The second they can make a new type of race, like they'll introduce aliens just to invent a new type of racism. Yeah.
Another being we can hate.
Yeah, hate it for the color of its skin. Gross. Anyways, that's a terrible note to end on, but I'm done. If you want to, we're going to be here on Monday and Thursdays. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You can join us on Discord if you want to ask us questions. If you like what we're doing, please consider making a donation. But follow, listen to us on YouTube, whatever you got to do. Thank you so much, everyone.